Hey everyone, I'm MattTGM, and welcome back to Fairy Tail Arc Rankings, the second episode. Sorry it's been 3 weeks since the last one, but a whole bunch of stuff got in the way, and, you know, just generic, I needed to take a break from YouTube stuff, but we're back, and we're back with not much of a bang, seeing as this arc review should be even shorter than the last one. But before we get started, I'd like to make an announcement. Please subscribe to the MattTGM channel. We're only, at the time of recording, 23 subscribers away from hitting 400, which was my goal for the year. So if we could hit that, that'd be kinda cash money, not gonna lie. But anyways, let's get into the arc review. Number 18 out of 19. Well, technically it's 17 out of 18, but I'm counting Fairy Tail 0 as an arc, so, you know, shut up, this is my ranking, I make the rules and stipulations. Speaking of rules and stipulations, if you want to see more of those, go watch the last one. I'll put it in the playlist above this one, so you should arguably have already watched that one before coming here. I mean, who watches a series halfway through the middle of it? What do you think you are? Me watching, like, Dragon Ball and starting at the Cell Saga? I do not think so. So, number 17 out of 18. The second worst arc in all of Fairy Tail is the Lullaby arc. Now, calling this an arc is pretty generous considering it's literally 4 episodes. But, you know, it was the first time Fairy Tail really had an expansive storyline, even if it was such a short one, and some pretty significant events happen here, so I think it's worth counting it as an arc. That being said, it really isn't that great, but it's only not great by comparison. When you first watch Fairy Tail, this arc will be by far the highlight of the show. Only it's immediately trumped by every single other arc that comes after it that isn't the Daphne arc, so, yeah, just consider this as a case of growing the beard. So, what happens in this arc? Well, Gray, Natsu, Urza, and Lucy all band together in order to stop an evil dark guild called Eisenwald from assassinating all of the guild masters at their annual conference using the magical flute lullaby created by Zeref. You might want to remember that name, Zeref. There's a slight chance he might be important later. During this time, they go to some railway town, cause some carnage, go to a railway line, cause some carnage, and end up blowing up the entire guild hall in the final battle against Lullaby's transformed form into a demon from the Book of Zeref. Yeah, he can turn a flute into a demon. That's actually a book. He was a very talented man. It's a shame he had to use his powers for evil. Anyway, now that I've basically told you the entire arc summary in about 20 seconds, yes, it's that short, what are the highlights and lowlights of this arc? Well, obviously there's one major highlight, for it is in this arc that we are introduced to Best Girl, Urza Scarlet, my favourite female character in all of Fairy Tail by far, and one of my favourite anime characters in general. She's amazing. Look at the way she carves apart these bad guys. Look at this fan service that I'm honestly pretty okay with. I mean, this is practical fan service because her armor actually lets her do cool stuff. While unfortunately I would come to have rather large problems with the whole equip system that she uses, initially it was a really cool power, much more unique than anything Natsu and Gray had accomplished so far, and far more interesting than whatever Lucy was using. Plus, another strong point about Urza is that I found that the jokes involving her and her character were often much funnier than anything else that we had seen so far. The way she takes everything too seriously to the point of it being comical made me laugh more often than not, and I highly appreciate it for that. It made her a star in filler episodes later on, which had a much larger focus on humor. It made her a very well-rounded character for both action and cool moments, and softer moments with often added hilarity. As soon as Urza was on the screen, I immediately fell in love with her, and she remained my favourite character for a long time until we got introduced to other, arguably better boys. Other upsides? The fight with Natsu versus Erigor, that was actually pretty cool. We got to see Natsu's flames of emotion. Keep them in mind too, they might come up later when talking about other future arcs. The fight with Natsu, Gray, and Urza versus the giant lullaby demon was actually one of the highlights of the arc, and for a long time was one of my favourite moments in the show until it was just preceded by other better arcs. So, you know, it's not bad by its own merit, it's just outclassed as the series creator improved at his work. So, it's not bad, it's just old. Now, I think to cut a long story short, because again, short review, the main highlights of this arc is the characterization. Like, we get to see Natsu, Gray, Urza, Lucy all really grow into their own, because we've only had 4 episodes with them at this point. And then we get to see them go through all this quote-unquote development. We get to see Natsu, how much he values family and a guild, even punching a Dark Guild member out when he attacks his friend, on the basis that he attacked his guild member. that is pretty good characterization. We get to see Urza doing all her stuff. Grey really gets to bring out his more calm and rational next to Natsu's hot-tempered and impulsive, and Lucy even gets a new celestial spirit in Virgo, who is, you know, at that point, easily the best one she has available in terms of likability, considering the others don't really do anything, and Aquarius is kind of a bitch. So yeah, this arc has a lot more positive to it than the Daphne arc, hence why I'm talking about it in a calm tone and not raging about it. However, it ain't perfect. It is held back by a few things other than its outdatedness, so let me address a couple complaints real quick. First complaint, so you're saying that Zeref had an instant kill flute, and that thing was just lying around for 400 years. Do you know how powerful that thing is? Like, if it can work on anybody, like, these guildmasters are way stronger than anyone in Fairy Tail. Like, to give an example, why was no one using it to, like, win wars and stuff? Like, Jesus. It doesn't really make sense how a weapon that powerful is seen as such a minimal threat. The other issue I have is the aforementioned fight with Natsu, Grey, and Urza versus the Lullaby Demon. While I get that it's meant to show off their power and how they're the strongest team, it also kinda makes Zeref demons look a little pathetic when we're first introduced to them. I mean, this thing can blow up a mountain range, and we're supposed to expect that after Natsu, Grey, and Urza take it down effortlessly, that these demons are supposed to be threatening? I mean, this is Natsu like fucking 9 episodes in. He hasn't even needed to do a single training montage, or get some sort of Super Saiyan equivalent. It's especially a problem in the next arc when we see Daliora, another demon from the Book of Zeref, be nearly unbeatable. But we've already had such a weak showing from them before that it's kinda a little hard to buy into that. It's not a major problem, and it is very enjoyable to see them taking down this massive demon. It's just, it could have been a little better done, like some relative power scaling. Especially as the guildmasters even seem slightly worried by the demon. Why? You're more powerful than the 3 wizards that just kicked its ass. Yeah, it's a minor complaint, but still just one that irked me as I rewatched the scene a couple times. But seeing as we've only listed 2 negatives about the arc, I would say it's a massive improvement over the Daphne arc. Even though it came out several years before the Daphne arc, and, well, it's not exactly that great on its own merits. It's below average for Fairy Tail. Just shows you how abysmal the fucking Daphne arc was. Anyway, overall, I would give this arc a 5 out of 10, mainly because it's too short, really. It just doesn't do much. You could almost consider it another generic job for Fairy Tail. If anything, the most significant thing it does is introduces Virgo, and it introduces Best Girl Urza, and it introduces the concept of Zeref. And besides that, you really could afford to get rid of this arc and nothing much would change. But it's still an enjoyable watch by itself. Well, I think that basically wraps up episode 2 of this series. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Sorry it's still so short, but I mean, come on, it's like over 7 minutes. It really isn't that much different compared to the Daphne arc after all. If you did like it, be sure to leave a like, comment and subscribe, trying to hit 400 subscribers by the end of the year. If you did enjoy it and want to see me reviewing anything else, leave that in the comment section below and I will look into your suggestion as soon as possible. And leave your comments guessing what will be the next arc to appear in the ranking and what your own thoughts were on the Lullaby arc. Thank you all for watching and I will see you all in the next video. Goodbye.